Records been part of my life from being a kid really, because I grew up in a house that was record mad. I used to come into town in the city centre when I was a little kid with my mother, and when she'd buy records, spent my pocket money on records. There's always something kind of magical about them. It's one of the things that I like to do when I get into a city, still do really if I can. I've got good memories of all different record stores in far off places. Piccadilly Records has always been part of my life from being a teenager really. You know, there's records that I bought being 14, 15 or whatever. They're still like treasures to me. I bought a ticket to see Iggy Pop from Piccadilly Records in 1980. I bought a ticket to see Patti Smith in 1978. I remember buying Elliott Smith Figure 8 here when it came out. And I bought Godspeed You Black Emperor, Raise Your Skinny Fist from this shop. I mean, I've known the staff for whatever, 20 years. So I've had some good times there really, yeah. The culture getting back to artists putting records out on vinyl now has been an amazing turnaround. So obviously someone like me has made me very happy to see that, because for a time it looked like everyone was sort of waving goodbye to it, you know. You can get an album and it can occupy you and it can be a massive part of your life and stay part of your life story. Aside from just the thing of loving music, they kind of get you through things really, don't they? Everyone who's into records knows that. They kind of get you through your school years, and I had some friendships with people just purely because of the albums that I was into. And also I'd steered clear of a few people who I thought had really terrible records. It's such a long list. Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, LAMF, was a big one for me because it hit at a time when I was sort of getting my songwriting together. Iggy and the Stooges, Raw Power, but also Say Chic. Chic was a big record for me. Television's first album, Marquee Moon. Blondie, Parallel Lines was a big part of my life. Bert Jansch, both his first and second album. I liked The Cure, 17 Seconds, that was a good record when I was just leaving school. Dear Dear, Iggy, that's my era really. But also, it's not all in the old days, you know what I mean? There's been some sort of records that came out in the last 10 years or so that I've still really, really like, you know. Whether it's vinyl or CDs or otherwise. I mean, obviously I prefer vinyl, I think it's such a beautiful thing. I'd recommend supporting your record store just because of what you're missing out on if you don't. We all know it's a nice thing to go to the cinema, it's a nice thing to go to an art gallery, and it's a nice thing to go and see a play, and going out to a record store and buying a record or a book. Trust me, it's a nice pastime, and it's a part of the culture, not just because I'm a musician, but it's a part of the culture that if it was completely to disappear would be a much worse off place. There's something about the presence, I think, of a record store, because it's full of treasures, it's full of stuff that's magical. Working on some new stuff. We've got a gig with Kraftwerk coming up pretty soon. I've got a collaboration that I'm not really allowed to talk about. Oh, and a song with Blondie on the next Blondie record, so working, always working.